it has been targeted 9 issues to be reduced. Okay, so by year 2025, for example, we want to establish 80% affordable technology and medicine to treat NCD, for example. Okay, and we want to ensure that 50% of people receive preventive therapy for heart attack and stroke. We want to reduce the rise of obesity. Many people become obese in Malaysia, maybe not so much in Indonesia, but in most countries in the world, obesity is the problem because we eat too much and we eat a lot of unhealthy diet. Okay, reduce salt intake and so on. So in the world, we can see a lot of initiative being done by many groups of many organizations in order to help to reduce in order to meet this 9 target. Okay, so one of the activity that we involve in the university is to find what will be the suitable treatment for NCD. Okay, I have a little bit technical problem in moving my slides, so bear with me. Okay, so what I'm going to talk about today is my experience working with finding the ways to treat diabetes. Okay, so I think everybody know what diabetes is all about. You know, in our life, sometimes we don't know that we are going to have diabetes, but actually diabetes can happen in silence in our body at least 5 years before we can see that our blood sugar become above 6.3, so it's pre-diabetic. But before we have the number 6.3 and above, actually our body start changing 5 years before. So we have to be very careful with what we eat so that our body is not silently developing diabetes. Okay, what happened here? I'm so sorry because it has problem. Okay. My computer moving by itself. Okay. Okay. Now we have a strategy through nutraceutical. Actually, we can prevent diabetes, or we can delay the onset of diabetes, or if someone already have diabetes, maybe with a proper diet, proper lifestyle, then we can actually prolong the progression of diabetes. Okay, but the key is nutraceuticals. Okay, so I want to share also, maybe every have seen this figure. This is not a traffic light. Okay, the green, the yellow, and the red. Okay, the normal people will have a normal blood sugar level around 4 to 6. From around below 6.3. If too low, then you become hypo. That is also not good. But if your sugar level become 8 and above, then we are in a green, we are already in the yellow and maybe going to red light. So please be careful and taking care of our health, right? Okay, so I would like also to share with the audience, previously when in this world, there is no such thing as diabetes. Okay, in fact, in the all books of medicine in our region, especially what we found in Malaysia, all medical books, there is no treatment for diabetes. So maybe at that time, long time ago, nobody knows what diabetes is. Okay. But of course, with the advancement of technology and the progression of civilization, with the advance of sugar manufacturing and different kind of foods, so people, more and more people getting this diabetes. And in fact, to the extent that these days, people think it's okay to have diabetes because there are so many people having diabetes. So it's like, it's okay, I'm having diabetes, so okay. Okay, that's why the treatment for diabetes is, although there are many treatment for diabetes, but people tend to go for alternative medicine for diabetes. Okay, so this is very interesting. Okay, I share also a little bit on a bit more types of diabetes, 3 main type of diabetes. First is type 1, when you may be born without insulin, the ability to produce insulin, or because of certain diseases, certain problem with your pancreas defect, so your body cannot produce insulin. So, or the type 2, the most common one, which is because of diet. So after a certain age, maybe around 35, but usually around 35 and above, people will have a little bit higher blood sugar level, which is above 6.3. But these days, people who are at the age 25 to 35 is already having pre-diabetic. So this is a very worrying condition throughout the world. Okay. So then another types of diabetes are gestational diabetes, the diabetes that will occur in women during pregnancy, and after they give birth, the blood sugar level become normal again. Okay, but these mothers has more tendency to get diabetes later in their life. Okay. So, okay, next. So what are the factors that causing diabetes? Sorry. Okay, these are the factors that can cause diabetes. Number 1 is obesity. Number 2 is the insulin resistant, whereby certain organs in our body cannot function as per normal. So they cannot the cells cannot take the sugar from the blood into the cells. Okay. Ethnic background also play an important role causing diabetic. But to me, I want to argue on these ethnic groups, because I think because of diet, because certain ethnic group is prone to eat certain things, or their eating festival is very much sugar intake, something like that. Or when your grandmother cooks certain type of food, and your mom will follow similar cooking, and you also follow similar cooking, and you are eating the same kind of food, that can contribute more to diabetes than other family. Okay. Another one is gestational diabetes. Also, the stressful lifestyle, lay back, no exercise, watching TV, couch potato, all the time on the phone, online, in the internet, no exercises. This is not good. And also the problems of impaired glucose tolerance. Okay, there is something wrong with our, there are some metabolic changes in our body that can cause diabetes. Okay. So actually there are many, since there are so many people having diabetes, there are so many drugs that has been developed for diabetes. So it's actually a good news. But in the medical term, maybe people from pharmacy can argue with me. It is like a norm that they say diabetes has no cure. I don't know, this is, to me, I like to argue on that. But it is very difficult to reverse the situation once our body have diabetes. Okay. Okay, so diabetes is actually a silent killer, and then people tend not to be very serious about taking care of themselves because they didn't see the changes in their body. Okay. However, diabetes is actually a silent killer because it works, it create complication in your body that you cannot see. It's only, you can only see when it's already late. Okay. And it causes, when you have diabetes, the complication will be your eyes become a blur. You tend to have heart disease. You will have a kidney problem. You will have a nerve problem because you lost sensation. You might lose your teeth just like that. You just one day you just wake up and then you can just pick up your teeth. Okay. Then you have also cerebral or problems in the brain area. Okay. And due to this severe effect of diabetes, a lot of drugs being developed for diabetes. I'm sorry, again. I'm so sorry about this. Okay, so if you can see, in hyperglycemic or in diabetic conditions, there are many drugs that has been developed. For example, we have drugs to promote insulin secretion, to promote gastrointestinal activities, to promote the intake of hepatic glucose or the conversion of glucose to energy in cells. Okay, so there are at least 6 types of diabetic drugs. Okay, available, because usually when you go to when you have diabetes, when you go to hospital, doctor, the first thing that doctor will tell you is to change your diet. Then after a few years, they will give you one medication. Then after a while, they will continue to add another one and another one until you have to take insulin. Then you will have more drugs being given because you have a kidney problem and you have cardiovascular problem. So later when we reach age of maybe 60 or 70 or 90, 80, 90, you will have a bucket of drugs that you have to carry and consume every single day. It just started with because you don't want to take care of yourself when you have diabetes in the early stage. Okay, so alternatively, how are we going to overcome this problem? Okay, so I was myself, I was a bit worried about getting diabetes. Okay, so I work with one, I'm so sorry about this. Okay, I work with, I screen a lot of traditional medicine and also a few nutraceutical, even food recipes that can help lowering our blood glucose. Okay, so one of the product that I was looking is actually this product, what we call as cynosine. Okay, it's actually, this is actually a herbal medicine being used traditionally to treat diabetes. So this cynosine, it has been registered with National Bureau of Pharmaceutical in Malaysia. It's actually a mixture of herbal extract, standardized again 5 active phytochemicals such as rosmarinic acid, curcumin, andrographolic, gallic acid, and also catechin. It's actually contain 5 different herbal medicine that is known in our society and also known scientifically to have evidences of their therapeutic properties for against diabetes. Okay, so at this moment, this cynosine, it has been approved in 2016, and it is under traditional medicine in our country, in Malaysia. And then, of course, traditional medicine, you cannot claim its therapeutic properties. What you can say to this registered product is only a general claim, saying like, for example, I put there, traditionally used for general health and strengthening the body. So this is what Dr. Ima mentioned just now. You cannot claim of, this is considered, although this is traditional medicine, you cannot claim because it's like a nutraceutical. No clinical claim, no medicinal claim. Okay, so knowing that, when I studied this particular product, I can see a lot of potential for it to become a proper medicine. Okay, so my idea is to bring this product to become under the category of botanical drug. Okay, and I want to have high claim, which is at least we can write on the box of this product for lowering or for regulating healthy blood glucose. So now I'm going to share you the journey. How many years that I have spent on this project and what are the costs like, okay? So, and what are the studies that we need to do so that we can change from category traditional medicine into botanical drug, okay? So, let's go into the detail.
Kelamaan profesornya.
Actually, this product, I'm not advertising, but actually the product is available if you type in the internet. You type in our country in Lazada, in Shopee, in few other online selling. Okay. Okay, so in order for us to change the category from traditional to botanical drugs, we have to create, or we have to find a lot of scientific evidence to show that this particular product can be categorized into a botanical drug. Okay, so we have at first we have to understand the diabetic so that we can design the protocol or the experimental work to know whether or not this particular product have therapeutic properties. Okay, so let me share with you a little bit on conditions, yeah, of diabetic. Actually, when we eat carbohydrate, for example, the carbohydrate will be changed into glucose in our stomach, and glucose will be absorbed by the blood and will be distributed to the whole body, and this glucose will be absorbed by the cells and converted into energy. Then we become energetic. Now that is why, because after eating we have energy. Okay, so actually what happened, the cells, for example the muscle cell, will convert the glucose into glycogen and convert, then during the process it will produce energy. Okay, the excess glucose will be converted into fat cells, then will be stored in our body. Then it should be used later when we are deprived of glucose or energy in our body. Also, fat that has been deposited into in our body, and also glucose that is in the liver will also be converted into glycogen and also will be converted into triglyceride. So it's another form of energy. And also our brain will not convert any glucose, but our brain is producing hormone that is going to regulate the insulin that that will regulate the body to create certain hormone, for example insulin, to take our brain will tell will tell our pancreas to produce insulin and then with the presence of insulin, the glucose will be able to be transferred into the cells. Okay, so that is a normal condition. That is why when we are when we have lack of sugar in our body in a normal condition, when we have lack of sugar in our body, suddenly we will feel hungry. So this is the work of our brain. Our brain will tell our body, okay, now you become hungry and then you must eat. So you eat, you get energy. Okay, so this is how the brain functions. Okay, so understanding the whole situation, what can contribute to diabetes. So we design several experimental work. Okay, so the simplest one, for example, when we create the in vitro study, so we found that cytosine, that product, okay, can assist in glucose uptake. Okay, and also, but at the same time, it does not create a lot of lipid. Okay, so that is one clue that we have. And then second one, when we test lipid promoting activity in the cells, we found that the cells, normal cells, when we induce with fat forming activity, it will produce a lot of fat. But with the presence of cynosine, we found that our cells are promoting glucose uptake, but it's not really producing fat. Okay, so maybe it's good. We don't know yet because this is a very early stage. That was in 2015, but earlier. The data was earlier than this. Okay, so we don't know yet what's going on. What are the benefits of this cynosine? So we continue with our study. So when we challenge cynosine with a study for starch degradation, we found that cynosine can reduce the amount of starch being converted into glucose. So it's actually good for those who are eat a lot, so and have diabetes. So with the ability to delay the conversion of cynosine of carbohydrate to glucose, then our glucose concentration in our blood will not shoot up, okay, immediately. So we also challenge this study with the already existing drug, which is acarbose, and we found that cynosine work much efficient, or it works in a lower concentration relative to acarbose. So this is another data that we have. So continue on, because we keep looking at what are the potential or what are the ability of cynosine in regards to diabetes. So we also look into the ability of cynosine in inhibiting DPP4 enzyme. Okay, we know that the mechanism of food that can the mechanism of how DPP4 contribute to diabetes. And then when we challenge our sample cynosine together with sitagliptin, so we found that cynosine has similar ability to sitagliptin, but it works very much effective relative to sitagliptin. So, okay, we know that cynosine has this property of ability to inhibit DPP4 enzyme. So, we continue. Okay, what else we want to see? What else can cynosine do with regards to diabetes? So we look also into the ability to inhibit advanced glycation. Advanced glycation is actually the problem. Is actually advanced glycation end product is actually the product or the a compound, I can say compound, that will be produced when we have high sugar in blood. So excess sugar in blood will tend to bind to other proteins in our blood. So when the sugar binds to the protein, it will inhibit the protein function. So when the protein that regulates the body not functioning well, it will cause more complication, or what we call a diabetic complication in our body. So the ability to inhibit or to reduce advanced glycation is very important. So that's why we look at the ability of cynosine to reduce advanced glycation. Okay, so our data shown also cynosine has the ability to inhibit all the 3 stages of advanced glycation end product formation. So this is very good. if you say, okay, we want to have a supplement or nutraceutical that can reduce complication of diabetic. So people with diabetic maybe can consume this so to prevent complication later in life, okay, because of having diabetes. So we do other screening. So we also look at the ability of cynosine in reducing blood sugar level. So we set the experimental work whereby we induce diabetic rats with STZ, with the toxin. So the rat become diabetic, and then we treat this rat, diabetic rat, with cynosine. So what we saw is that cynosine has the ability to reduce blood sugar level very significant relative to diabetic control. And also when we expose our cynosine to another type of rat, which is DBDB mice, we also found that our cynosine have a significant ability to, has a significant therapeutic property to reduce liver T-bars. I cannot remember offhand now what is the meaning of T-bar, but it is indicating that cynosine has strong antioxidant activity. Okay.
Pardon, Professor Fadzilah.
Yeah.
We have 3 minutes left.
Okay, very good. 3
Thank
minutes. You. Okay. So, this is the summary of the table. We can see that the green one, the diabetic rat being treated, reduce the sugar level significantly. Okay. So this is another study that we have done. We know that cynosine has PIPA ligand activity. So this is another set of metabolic pathway that has been addressed by cynosine. And also when another important factors in diabetics are the diabetic wound. So we also challenge our cynosine to the wound of rats, and we saw that cynosine has the ability to promote healing faster than other treatment. Okay. So next one. Okay. In summary, in short, these are the study that we have done. So we challenge our cynosine with 6 types of diabetic drugs, and we can see there are some similarity in the function of cynosine, okay, relative to the current drugs. Okay. So in summary, again, okay, it has this ability, and also we do in order for us to register cynosine as a botanical drug, we have to do also intensive toxicology study and other set of investigations that we need to meet the requirement of regulatory authority. So I listed here. Okay. Sorry. I'm going to go to the last slide. Okay, so these are actually another set of studies that we conduct on cynosine. So we are already now doing the investigation for almost it's almost 5 years. Okay, and we are now in the later stage of 96-day toxicology study. And after this, if everything goes well, we are going to submit our application for clinical trial for Sanesin lowering blood glucose. So again, what I can say from my study, we can see that actually nutraceuticals or traditional medicine that is available in our country could be transformed or upgraded into botanical drugs or phytopharmaca. But we have to do intensive study very systematically so that there will be a lot more nutraceuticals being developed for non-communicable diseases.